Okay, so today we're going to take a look at how to construct a tone on the Roland MC-707, basically from scratch, really. So the first thing we're going to do is we've got an empty track here. In this case, it's track number 5, and we're going to create it as a tone track. Okay, so now that is created, and the basic tone of a tone track is the following. Okay, so nothing to write home about, but we're going to make it nice for us. So I created the clip here, and the clip is 1 bar long by default, and let's double that up to a bit longer, and then let's see, we want to have the metronome playing. Okay, good. So I'm going to start off by simply recording a very, very simple melody. Hit record. Let's see, maybe there is a good melody in here, maybe there's a good sound in here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the sound, and here we're confronted with all the possibilities that we have. And for this tutorial we are going to keep it simple, right? Nothing too fancy, we're just going over a couple of things to edit, and we're not going over the whole shebang. So our goal here is to work with 2 oscillators, and we have a variety of possibilities here. So the way it's set up here is that on the bottom we have the 4 oscillators, we have the filter, we have the amp, EQ effects mix, then we've got the filter envelope, we've got our LFOs, and the LFOs, we're going to use the LFOs today, so we're going to see what they are all about. And then we have the pitch envelope, and in order to orient ourselves, we can simply step through this here, and so let's start. Let's change this oscillator, oscillator 1, to a PCM. PCM is a waveform, and what we can do now is so we've got a waveform here selected. Type internal means that you can load 2 kinds of samples into the Zencore engine. One type is the internal waveforms for the PCM, so pre-constructed by Roland, and they come in 3 banks, and then you can select the wave. You can also select a sample from the internal memory, but I don't have any loaded onto here. We're simply going to work with those that are included. So at the moment we've got a viola. Sounds a bit nicer. So let's use a second waveform. And now right off the bat we've got this nice a nice combination of varying sounds that we can use. And so I like that. This is a square waveform. Okay, so let's see what we can do with that. First of all, right, we go back to the first one. And you see the flashing function button here, or maybe you don't see it. And if you press that, you get into a second sort of menu here. And you can change the semitone, you can fine-tune it, you can set the volume. Basically, quite basic stuff, really. If we go inside, if we simply press Enter while selecting one oscillator, we go into the deep dive, right? So this is not really what we're going to do today, but we see here that we can have, for each oscillator, we can choose 2 waveforms. So we've got the viola wave on oscillator 1, and we could have, so this is now set to mono left, but we could also choose another waveform for the right channel. And I think at least I think it's rather nice that we can do that. So let's see what kinds of one thing I like here is that we have quite a bit of attack here, because we have got these different, we've got an E piano here, we've got the harpsichord, and they provide attack, whereas the viola provides more breathing room, and the square wave sort of supports that. So that's nice. And already, I mean, it is a new sound, right? It's sample based, okay, but it is a new sound and it's constructed from 4 samples, and I think that is really great. So we were in the amp settings, ADSR settings, and then if you press function, you can actually space out the partials, partial 1 and partial 2, with our base, which are basically these 2 oscillators here. Space them out to the left and right channel to get a bit more breathing room. So when we move around and we want to deep dive into editing, then, for example, we are now on this LFO, and I simply press enter, and then we get into the, you know, the big menu, right? So let's see what we can do here. We have LFO2 selected. We work on partial 2. Okay, so basically what we're doing here, so we're in LFO2 and we are affecting the pitch. And the higher I go with a value, the more the pitch will get out of tune, getting some sort of more and more vibrato kind of sound. Now we can set LFO speed. Here we are in the basic settings. So what kind of waveform do we have for our LFO? So LFO2 was set to, I think both they were set to triangles, and now let's move them around. So I quite like that actually. So having a random curve and a square curve, and I think they work nicely together. So let's see. Let's go into this LFO, and again, so it's a brand new LFO here. So we can set brand new patterns, and let's choose 2 squares. And then the time, so we sync it to the MIDI clock, which I think is a good idea, and then we can set oh, because we're synced, yeah, okay. We cannot set the rate because the rate is not set, but we can set the notes. I'm sorry. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so got a lot more movement, and so you can see here um, the structures inside of the partials inside of the synthesizer that we apply the LFO to. So LFO1 does not go to pitch, does not influence pitch. It does influence the filter envelope. It does influence the end. So now let's see, maybe a bit more delay. And what we now have some sort of groove coming through the fact that we set the sync rate to the MIDI clock. So we attached the waveforms to the clock, and we've got this sort of rhythm, which I actually quite like. And so, yeah, I think that concludes this very short tutorial. I hope there was something in there for you, and let's say bye.